Out of all the metrics that are on Facebook, metrics like return on ad spend, cost per acquisition, CPC and CTR, or maybe if you're a more advanced Facebook marketer, you know certain metrics like hook rate and hold rate. But in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about a metric that 99% of businesses don't actually even track. Yet this metric alone is the difference between winning Facebook ad accounts and losing Facebook ad accounts. So what is that metric? What's going on, everyone? It's Spencer here. If you're new to the channel, I run a growth focused agency by the name of Easy A Media, and we run a lot of Facebook ads for our clients as we scale them to multiple 7 and 8 figures. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to always hate when I'd click on a YouTube video and the creator would just leave the metric all the way to the end. So I'm not going to do that in this video. Okay. The metric that I'm actually talking about is a metric called your ad hit rate. Now, what is your ad hit rate, or what is your ad hit rate percentage? Well, as the name might suggest, your ad hit rate percentage is the total amount of winning ads divided by the total amount of ads that you have created for your ad account. So for example, if you've created 5 winning ads, but it took you 50 ads in total to get those 5 winning ads, that would mean that your ad hit rate percentage is 10%. Because for every 10 ads that you create, one of them is a winner. Now, Spencer, why does this metric even matter in the first place? I thought you were going to show me some kind of custom metric that I can put inside of my Facebook ad account. Because at our agency, we have noticed a direct correlation in our overall ability to scale ad accounts based on the number of winning ads that we actually create. So if we want to scale our ad account further and ultimately get more sales, we have to create more winning ads, which would also mean that we need a higher ad hit rate percentage in order to scale more predictably and of course scale even faster. So in today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the screen and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about number 1, what a winning ad actually is. Number 2, how you can actually start tracking it. And then number 3, if you stick all the way to the end, I'm actually going to explain how you can use this metric to guide you into making more winning ads and ultimately scale your Facebook ad account further. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so as you can see, we are now in the screen, and the first thing I want to do is I just want to jump right into an ad account and actually first off define what a winning ad actually is. Now at our agency, we consider a winning ad an ad that increases spend by at least 30% at whatever our target KPI is. So for example, if you have a target KPI of a 2.5x return on ad spend or a $40 CPA and you're spending $1,000 a day, well, a winning ad would help you scale to $1,300, ideally further, at that 2.5x return on ad spend or $40 CPA, aka the ad is good enough to actually help you scale the ad account further. Now, the reason why we say a minimum of 30% is because that is somewhat significant to the point where we definitely are making a lot more money in the ad account. But ideally, with our winning ads, we're looking for a 50 to 100% jump in overall spend at target KPI to actually feel like it's a legitimate winning ad. Now, again, we're back into the screen, and what I just want to show you is an example of DCT number 56 here. I'm actually going to click it so you can keep track of it, that we launched, I believe it was January 12th or 11th. It was basically at the end of this week that we launched the ad. And as you can see, we were spending about $24,000 during a week during the 7-day period at around a 3.96x return on ad spend. Now, if we actually jump to the following week, you can see the very next week that DCT number 56 here went from spending $1,000 a week to $16,000 a week. And as you'll notice, we increased overall spend from $24,000 a week to $43,000 a week. So that was, I believe if my math is correct, a 78% jump in overall ad spend. And our overall purchase return on ad spend only dropped from 3.96 to 3.89, which in this scenario, our target is a 3.5x. So we were well above target. But at the end of the day, if you're just looking at a week to week ratio, performance is always going to change. But in this scenario, as you can see, we nearly doubled our budget just by launching a new ad and allowing this ad account to scale further. And now to give you another example, here's a smaller ad account that was spending about $120 a day. So during this 7-day period, we were spending about $848. You can see our overall returns was a 2.93 and our CPA was around $30. The following week, we launched DCT number 30 here, or at the end of the week, we launched DCT number 30. You can see the the next 7 days, we were able to maintain spend, but our CPA got cut in half and our overall returns obviously, exploded. So in this scenario, because for this client, we focus on CPA, being able to cut our cost per acquisition in half was absolutely insane. So now we were spending the same amount, but because we had a new winning ad, we were getting way better returns. So what did we did the following week? Well, we doubled budget. And as you can see, our CPA was still $10 less than the actual, $30 CPA that we're getting the previous week. And our amount spent was doubled. It was about a 98% increase in overall spend. Now returns here were about a 2.7, which was still very, very profitable for this client. But because CPA is the main metric that we focus on, as you can see, we were able to scale a lot further just by introducing a new winning ad. And now here's a middle-sized account that's a little bit more up to date. So as you can see here, we actually had DCT number 46 that is pinned. So we launched this near the end of the week. I believe we launched this, it was March 7th. So let's actually go back to March 7th to the 16th. And you can see we had launched this ad. It was doing okay. It was getting a little bit of spend. We spent about 5.8K and we had a 2.5x return on ad spend. But if we now go all the way up into present day, you can see we've now doubled our budget and our overall returns are better. And you can see this ad is continuing to take off and pull the majority of budget, and the performance is extremely strong. So again, by launching a new winning ad, we have been able to scale a lot further. Again, nearly double our budget week over week, or I don't believe this is week over week. It's about a 10-day period here. But as you can see, this ad is now helping us scale a lot further because again, it is a winning ad. So again, a winning ad is ideally going to increase your ad account spend by 50 to 100% at your target KPI. Now that you understand what a winning ad is, I need to go and show you how we actually track the ad hit rate metric. And again, there will actually be a link for you to make a copy of this sheet as well, so you can start tracking your own winning ads. But I've pulled up what we call our growth guide, and basically what this sheet will allow you to do is, number one, keep track of the DCT number. So just like I talked about here, hey, DCT number 46 was the ad that has been helping us scale. Now the next column here is author, and the reason why we have author here is because we actually like to keep track of who came up with the winning ad. So number one, we can give them lots of credit, but number two, we know that like, hey, any more ideas that you've got is going to be a great way to, if you have multiple people on your team, or even if it's just yourself, or if, for example, you want to use this as a way to keep track of certain content creators. So maybe you have content creators making you content. You can keep track of like whoever the creator is that made the video. Long story short, you want to keep track of where that winning ad came from. And then from there, you have the ad concept here, and the ad concept section is just for you to keep track of whatever the ad is. So for example, we always give all of our ad concepts a name. So if we're doing like an us versus them, or if we're doing a how-to video, we'll just keep track of that there so we know what concept actually did well. And then very simply, you just keep track of whether or not it was a losing ad or a winning ad inside of this little status column. And what's great about this is you'll notice that if you just update this, that the overall numbers here will also keep tracking this sheet, which then brings me to the front part of the sheet, where as you can see, you can now track your hit rate. And so your hit rate percentage will show nice and big in front of you whenever you're using this sheet. So that way you can keep track of what that percentage is. Now, before I explain what a good ad hit rate percentage is, I'm going to explain the rest of the sheet and then we'll come back to that. Now, the next part of this column is the learnings, and the learnings is by far the most important section of this entire sheet, because if you keep track of your learnings, and most importantly, you actually review your ads so you can get learnings, this is what will seriously help you improve as a marketer or as a business owner, to have learnings of why things are working and why things aren't. The final column here is obviously just a link to the ad. So definitely make sure that you have the ad there for you to go and check it out, because again, you need to make sure that you have easy access. Like, okay, this was a winning ad. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Or sometimes what we like to do is, if we have a few different winning ads in here, we like to pull up all of our winning ads into tabs, and then we just try to look for commonalities between all of them. And again, it's an incredible way for you to actually keep track of everything. But long story short, this simplified sheet is going to help you keep track of all of your winning ads, and most importantly, the core metric of your ad hit rate percentage. Now, like I said, I mentioned I would come back and speak on what a good ad hit rate percentage is. And at the end of the day, it's going to vary from brand to brand. To be transparent with you, we have some brands that have a 45 to 50% hit rate. And honestly, it feels like literally every ad we put out there is a winning ad, and we are crushing it for them in their ad account. With that said, some of our accounts that are at more scale and are a lot harder to find winning ads for can sometimes have lower hit rate percentages of 15 to 20%. But at the end of the day, for most brands, they don't even have a benchmark of what their ad hit rate percentage is. So once you start tracking it, then you'll be able to see how many ads it actually takes you to get a winner, and you'll have a baseline of where you need to improve. And again, right now, if you're not even testing ads, then you need to just start testing no matter what, because you're really not going to be able to scale your ad account unless you are testing ad creatives. But if you already are testing ads, I'd highly recommend you just start tracking it for a month, take a look at what your ad hit rate percentage is, and then use that as a baseline to just improve from there. Your ad hit rate percentage is really going to vary depending on your brand, depending on how good your content is, and depending on how good you are at creative strategy. So with all that said, your ad hit rate percentage is definitely going to vary depending on your brand and depending on what you are doing and how many creatives that you're testing and what your requirements are. For us, we typically don't just put out ads that we think are mediocre just to put out ads. We only put out ads that we really think are going to scale the ad account. So obviously, if you're more conservative with your ad creative testing, your hit rate is probably going to be higher. Whereas if you're just shotgun blasting a bunch of different ads into your ad account without really thinking about it, well, your ad hit rate is probably going to be lower. Just make sure you start tracking this metric, and most importantly, you record your learnings and actually keep track of what ads are winning and what ads are losing. I can guarantee that you will see an improvement in your Facebook ad results, and you certainly will be able to scale your ad account a lot further. Well, if you've made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this week's video. If you enjoyed, all I ask is that you click the share button down below and send this to someone else who you also think could get value. And if you happen to have a multiple 6 or 7-figure Shopify brand looking to get to 8 figures and you want the help of a growth focused team to get you there, I'd highly recommend applying to work with our agency down below to get a custom action plan. And if you're not quite at 6, 7, or 8 figures, but you still want to work with me, I have a free consultation program over on Skool that I'd highly recommend for you to check out as well. Again, the link for that is down in the description below. With all of that said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this week's video, and I'll see you next week.